Gentlemen, a very good evening to you. Welcome to the show. Shuaib Walters, Dinha, and Calvin Sosibo. Once again, we meet. So I won't be taking any prediction today. This is much better. We will just get the show going, which will be quite nice. Let's talk about the new kit. I mean, you guys might have seen the Kaizer Chiefs showcasing their home and away kit. What is your take on that? Eddie? I know they're their opposition, so I want to start with you first.
No, I think it's a nice kit. I like it, and I just hope that this time it will bring a certain dimension to the players, that they will, play very well and try to win something this season. But it is a nice kit. I like it.
Sosi?
Yeah. Also, I would say without a doubt, nice kit. As the slogan says, just do it. I'm sure this time they're going to do it much better than what they did last season. And let's just hope this is a new inspiration and then it's a new chapter.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything that can go wrong with you when it comes to Kaizer Chiefs. That's what what do you think of the new kit?
Yeah, no, look, I think it's something different. Going with the blue now this time around instead of the away kit, which is normally white. Maybe they thought, hey, let's try something different, and maybe we'll get a different result, when it comes towards the end of the season. I think it's quite right. So we will obviously see. Hopefully the cool kit can go with the cool performances, with next season.
Yeah. All right, guys, let's talk about this. I mean, I know a lot of teams now are making changes. Not only players coming in, we're seeing also changes in the technical department. Gavin Hunt announced as the coach at Kaizer Chiefs. We're now talking about his assistant coaches coming in Arthur Zwane alongside Dillon Sheppard. He's worked with Sheppard at Pittsburgh. He brings him across at Chiefs. Now let's try and unpack this and explain this to someone who's not a football fundi, somebody who didn't play football previously. What is the role of an assistant coach? What do they bring? I mean, Eddie, you're nodding. Let's get there. Let's see exactly what is it that an assistant coach is supposed to do in a team.
I think the assistant coach, I think he is the one that helps, the head coach in terms of the development of the players. How far the players are in terms of the level that they want them to be, and also try to assist them with the games, like the teams that they'll be playing against. So they are there to assist the head coach. Also, when they are playing a game, because you won't see the coach won't see everything. So they are also there to identify other departments where the coach is not clear about, so that when it's halftime, they can be able now to talk about it and say, okay, listen, this is what is happening, so we need to fix this. And if we can check out this one, and then we put this one, and this one brings this kind of play in the team. And then that's even at training too, when it comes to certain drills that the coach will be looking at one direction, they are also there to assist, to push the other side, that everybody is on the same path.
Sosi?
Yeah, I think for an assistant coach is just to get the philosophy of the coach, making sure that the game plan is well executed, and also help out in terms of bring up the other players that maybe might be behind in terms of fitness, or that players that maybe might come and ask, why am I not being played? Where am I lacking? Then an assistant coach gets to take that role to actually make a player to have an understanding in terms of what the coach wants, what's the philosophy of the team, and how the team should play. So I think it's just to share off the weight from the coach, just to make it easy for him if he makes a selection, because again, a coach will actually regroup with an assistant coach and try to get their perspective in terms of the planning and see if it's well executed. So if that is, within that being said, it also gives a dimension on saying, when we sit down and then we plan tactically, are the tactics being carried out in the right form?
So that's the role of an assistant coach. I'll come to Shuaib shortly, because the two coaches also been announced that Maritzburg United, stories coming out from their the social media platform is that they have Delron Bartley alongside Rowan Fernandez, who are going to be assisting Eric Tinkler. Let's talk about a team, Shuaib. I know that Calvin will know there, but let's talk about you. Yes, you might have been there 5 years or so, but Maritzburg United, Eric Tinkler coming on board, he's bringing his own assistant coaches. How important is it for a coach to be able to get his own assistant coaches versus the ones that are imposed on him by a team? Yeah, I think Shuaib is still unmuted. You need to unmute yourself, Shuaib.
Oh, my humble apologies. Sorry. Yes, I actually wanted to. I actually wanted to touch on that. So for me, when I look at Kaizer Chiefs and how they did it, I think they must have been when they agreed the contract. Gavin must have said, you know what, I'm going to bring one of my own. And obviously, I think Chiefs said, okay, we also want a continuity going with our philosophy, not with our philosophy, but with our coaching. So obviously, that's how Arthur Zwane came in. As Pitso would normally say to players that finally do well coming through, they paid their school fees. I think with regards to Dillon Sheppard and Arthur Zwane, they both paid their school fees in the coaching. But getting the knowledge, getting their qualifications, going down to MDC for a while. Talking about the roles of an assistant coach, for me, is I always believe that the assistant coach is the punching bag and he's the sponge. So he absorbs all of the difficulties or all the when players are not happy, all the anger of players, and they're the ones that can speak to players or can tell the player or relate to the player. And I feel that they're normally the punching bag. So when I know as a player myself, when I hate the decisions made or I wasn't playing, I would always go to the assistant coach. You always have that comfortableness. With regards to Eric and obviously bringing Barkley, don't forget Vincent Kubola is still there. So they also going with the new modern day football. We have two assistants, Dillon Bartley and Vincent Kubola. So for me, I think obviously Dillon and Rowan has both played in Germany. And they've experienced campaigners in football generally. Rowan has got a few stints under his belt when it comes to goalkeeper coaching. I mean, he's been at the London Pirates, he's been at Highlands Park, so he's quite experienced. So I think they're gonna form a good, formidable team. I think with Eric now, he's gotten his way, but I don't think before he never got his way, because Vincent Kubola, he also brought in. Him and Vincent and myself, we were all together at Cape Town City, and when Vincent decided to retire, Eric brought him in as an assistant coach. So I'm sure Eric has as much say. I know at other clubs it might be a little bit more difficult. There might be some clubs like to have the assistant coach or even the goalkeeper coach to be the eyes for the management of the club. Could be that, we've experienced that while I was playing. So those are things. But I think nowadays coaches do have a lot more say with who they can bring in.
Yeah, I think also. Listen, I'm very happy in terms of what Chiefs has done. I mean, regarding like what Shuaib is saying regarding Arthur and Dillon Sheppard. I mean, if you look at Arthur Zwane, he has been with Kaizer Chiefs since 2000. He played for them. He understands the culture. He knows the players. Yeah. He knows exactly what is needed. And Dillon Sheppard, because I played with him at Seven Stars and Gavin Hunt was the coach. So he knows exactly what Gavin Hunt knows. And then 2014, when he joined Verts, Gavin Hunt was the coach. And he became the coach too. So he understands. So the combination of Arthur and Dillon Sheppard, one knowing the culture of the club, one knowing exactly what the coach needs and understands. So I think the combination, I'm just hoping that it will be a killer.
Yeah, just my also 2 cents on that one as well. I think again, we'll say Sundowns has set a high standard as well. I think now South African teams are following into the right line, which is they are adopting more in terms of they are broadening up the technical bench and also bringing players that have played that have went through the trial run. They've got their qualifications, and it actually gives them a boost. Within that being said, it also gives a dimension that you find in the case of Gavin and Arthur and Sheppy. In fact, Gavin is the one that signed Sheppard to Vets at that time when Gavin was there. So it gives them an understanding, as well as Eddie said, and also with Arthur, him being at the front line in terms of preparing the players that are actually at the MDC. It will actually give him an advantage as a coach to say we can go back and then start bringing up other players that he might know that are actually going to make it to the top team.
Yeah, sorry, Brian. Lastly, we also have to look at and be proud of all the new ones that have been brought in. They're all local, and that's a good thing. It's a good thing for South African football. It gives hope to other aspiring footballers that want to become coaches one day, that these opportunities that is presenting itself now. And for me, that is one of the highlights that I like about all the announcements and all the coaching staffs that have been brought in. It's not that we're saying that we don't want foreign coaches, but we are showing now that the best of the clubs that are there, they are bringing in local coaches, and they have the faith and they're showing confidence in them. And that is, for me, is a good thing.
And again, it's just maybe just to preserve the culture as well, because a far coach that is more in-house understands the house much better than somebody that is going to walk in. Again, we're not trying to be xenophobic about it, but I think it's high time now we get our identity back. We start going to search at the right places, not undermining the players that teams do bring in. But again, we have to look at it in a sense in terms of our development. Where are we leaving our football? Because the football now is for the youth that are coming up. So if we set the right standard and the right precedent, I think everything will go well.
Given what you guys have just explained about it, an assistant coach, and talking about how you, Shuaib, were mentioning the fact that you could actually, when you're frustrated, your go-to guy would be assistant coach more than the head coach. Now, who does the assistant coach remain loyal to? Is it the players, or is it the head coach, or is it just going to be a neutral guy who's just going to try and just kill all the flames that are coming up within the team to keep harmony throughout?
Yeah, you see, Brian, that is why I said assistant coach is like a sponge, because he actually gets it from both sides. Sometimes even the head coach will say, "Hey, but you're too lenient with this player," or the player is allowed to swear at the assistant coach because he'll be able to take it. That's why I say you're like a sponge. You have to absorb all of this. But for me, it is one of the most effective part of a technical team is your assistant coach. And that is why, like Eddie and Sosi is saying, we have to give credit to the head coaches, because you must remember your head coach is not going to bring in somebody that he doesn't trust. So automatically he trusts that person. And Eddie said now Gavin has got over 2 decades of interaction with Dillon Sheppard. From the late 90s at 7 Stars to bringing him in as apparently a has-been. When he left Maritzburg, he came to Wits. He won a league title with Wits, if I'm not mistaken, that year. So, and as a player, and then as a MDC coach, and then he was his second assistant at Wits as well. So they've got that chemistry. And the position that Gavin is going into, and the whole, walking on, you ended off second last season, so you expected to win the league this season. You need as much as trustworthy personnel as you can get. And like Eddie was saying, and I agree 100%. I think there's going to be some good synergy amongst the 3 of them. Well, with Lee Baxter as well.
You just mentioned something very interesting. Chiefs finished second last season. Would it be realistic to expect Gavin to come in and win the league for them?
In my opinion, the supporters want it. They're not going to say, "Oh, because you're local," and "Oh, because you won the league before." We're not expecting that. That is what the supporters want. We know that there was mandates given by the chairman. We also have to look at what's happening with the ban. Can they reinforce? I think all of those things are going to play a role. Are they allowed to sign players? Now there's talks of players that could be sold, because you can sell players even if you're banned of signing players, you can't register them. So all those things are going to play a role. I feel that if the ban is in effect, and they do want to sell players, they should then look at consolidating the season, trying maybe bring in a few youth. But we're not too sure how the supporters will feel about that at the end of the day.
I mean, one thing that I found very interesting, I mean, yesterday when Velile was on the show, he spoke about the fact that there are a few players who have received offers and some are still looking at offers. I mean, I know that he mentioned the fact that there's something huge for Norkovic, number one. There's something also out there for Zuma. There's also a offer table for Reef Frosler. If, for example, we're talking about the fact that Chiefs are unable to get the ban lifted, which, given the way things have gone so far, there's been a huge battle for them to try and get that sorted. You mentioned the fact that they can sign players, but those players won't be able to play now. Those players will have to wait some time. Firstly, as a player, would you wait if a team like Chiefs wants to sign you, but you're unable to play for them now? One. Number two, would you therefore, if they lose the players they have now, who've been the core players, your Norkovic, your Reef Frostlers, your Zuma, who's been a super sub coming in to create stuff going forward, then what would Gavin have to work with and able to get the majority of those players from the youth? And will those players be able to win what you guys are talking about now?
Well, I think for me, Chiefs is getting the end of the stick at this point. Reason being is they're in a rebuilding phase, and understandably so. I'm sure the mandate from Kaizer is he actually understands as well that he's not going to be able to sign any players because of the ban. But yet again, for players that, if you go back to the players that are going to be signed by Chiefs and that cannot be utilized, I think they can sign them and then they treat it as if like it's players that are going on loan, as much as it's going to do damage on Chiefs. But anyway, at least they've secured that player, because if things go on for too long and then the player gets snatched by Sundowns or Pirates, then that player is gone, because those teams have an advantage. Within that being said, again, we go back to a point whereby we understand that Chiefs needs to actually to cash into the players that are actually have offers as offers on the table. So if they sell those players, then at least when they come back and then they're going to be signing players, at least they're going to have some financial muscle to actually get players that they want. So within that space of time, they can use that money to secure those players and treat it as if those players are on loan, because originally they cannot actually come in and join the Chiefs. Because if you look at the spreadsheet of Chiefs right now, they are handicapped because they're the one that are actually disadvantaged at this time with an error that they made, but unfortunately they have to pay for it.
Eddie?
Yeah, I think I would agree with Shuaib. Like this, I mean, it depends with the chairman and the technical staff what the mandate is all about. If it's we need to win the league and we need to win silverware, then selling the players is going to be very, very, very difficult, because once we have that, then you need to stay with the players that will fight for you, that will win games for you, and then that will bring trophies back to Naturena. If it's not about winning and building, then yes, probably then you can sell them, cash in, get some money, and then as much as sources said, yes, we need to have players that will be coming from the development. You also need to buy experienced players to fit in so that they can help these youngsters. So in the end, the mandate that has been given to the technical staff says exactly whether you want to win or let's build this season or let's win silverware. Then we can just take it from there.
I think, Eddie, just to come in there, the mandate should be strict on this one. It's open and everybody understands it in a way that Chiefs right now cannot sign. They have a ban on their heads. So within that being said, whatever that the mandate is going to be clear now. We're on a rebuilding phase and just wait to see the outcome of the ban. So once the outcome of the ban becomes negative or positive, you have to work with the material that you have. So within that being said, you have to understand that if Gavin already has the players on his mind, but he can't sign them. He cannot do anything. So the money that is there for those other players that there's offers on the table for them, then rather sell them, because anyway, Chiefs will actually need to refresh their squad right now. So when they refresh their squad, it's new mindsets, new coaches, new energy. So I'm sure he knows in terms of, he will agree maybe on a sale to say, okay, let's sell these other players. Yeah, again, Eddie, my point, like I was saying, I understand what you're saying. And in terms of the youngsters, already, we have to look at it in the sense that Chiefs is already handicapped. Look at their spreadsheet, even the last outcome that they had, because of the effect of the ban. They couldn't actually, they were forced to actually renew those other players that were within the squad, which was not their initial plan to actually renew the contract of those players. But now, because of the bubble and the lockdown and all the other nitty-gritties that took place, it gives us an indication. And already Chiefs had another case hanging on their head, which is they're still going to work within the same lines. But now you have to look at it in a financial standing point in terms of, if you want those players, what are you going to do when you have an opportunity to sell? So because you can't keep stock, you can resell the stock to actually to get new inventories in.
But so now, here's my question to you now. Okay, I understand what you say, but if the mandate is to say you need to win trophies, do you then sell the players that took you to second position last season, and now you sell those ones, you don't have players at all now, because you don't know the ban, whether it's going to be lifted or not. Let's suppose the ban is not going to be lifted. Now you have sold those players. Then you're a new coach. Now you need to dig deep into the MDC. Are those players from the MDC going to make an impact straight into the first team? Having sold those players.
Sosi, can I answer that question, please? If you don't mind. Yeah, for me, is Eddie, I think they've already discussed it. If the ban is lifted, this is the way we're gonna go forward. If the ban is not lifted, if the ban is in effect that we can't sign any players, this will be your mandate. If we can sign players, this is obviously the mandate. What Sosi is saying is, if the ban is effect and they can't sign, I would also sell the players, because you rather want to cash in now and have a consolidation season where you say, look, I can give opportunities to my young MDC players. I've got brilliant coaches there with Arthur Zwane and Dillon Sheppard, who's worked with MDC players, so they can see who we can promote or not. So in that sense, as we give opportunities to youngsters, we sign who we want to sign, send them out on loan, and then we bring them in next season.
So the bottom line is, the mandate is the one that decides whether you need to sell or let's
mandate determines everything.
But just to come in there, also remember that the ban is only for two signings. So I mean that keeps you till next year. When you get to the end of next season, then you can be able to come back and be able, if they don't get it right as far as the ban is concerned. And they'll be able to get there. They might just make some money in between. I know they've got players who have been sent on loan at other teams. I know there's a player that won the league with Swallows, whom they can get back if they want to. They've got a few players lying around the country who are sent on loan stint elsewhere. Your Buntings are there, so they can literally bring those players back should they have a situation where they don't get the bench sorted and they're forced to dig deep. But if I were, I mean, like you guys are saying, I understand that from a point of view of making some money, if they can sell those players that are wanted and they can be able to beef up a squad and work for the future, maybe that's what Gavin is aware of that as well. So that could be a possibility what they look forward to. Let's go to the next case. I mean, Eddie, you were sitting here, you put your bottom dollar on the table that Gavin was going to Pirates. What happened?
Yes.
What happened? Your crystal ball didn't work well, Eddie. What happened there?
sorry, Brian. I didn't get you there.
I'm saying you were sitting here and you said Gavin is surely gonna go to Pirates, not gonna go to Chiefs. Given the signings that Pirates have done, you mentioned names. You're talking about your Tyson Deon, your Deon Hottos, all the players, Olam Lambos, all the players that have gone across from Vest to Pirates. That it meant that they were planning things around. Jay-Z is not going to be there. They're bringing Gavin into the place. Gavin is a Chiefs. What happened?
Yes. Okay. Let me tell you exactly what's going on, Brian. Football these days, it's all about business, right? It's all about business. Orlando Pirates, they offered Gavin Hunt the job, right? It's a fact. They offered him the job. And then Kaizer Chiefs, on the other hand, heard that this is what's going on, then they counter offer. So that, listen, he also needs to feed his family. He also needs to be in a place where he can be comfortable and be able to do exactly what he wants to do, right?
Okay. Wait, sorry. Let me just ask you a question. Let me just ask you a question. So if he had gone to Pirates, you wouldn't have been able to...
Shuaib, let him speak. We'll come to you now.
Let me finish.
Feed his family.
Yes, so Kaizer Chiefs then counter offer.
Yeah, we're listening, yeah.
Yes, obviously, as I'm saying, football these days, it's all about business. It's all about where you're getting the more money. Because there's no way where a coach can go to a club where you're getting less when the other team is offering you more. We guys, listen, we have played the football. We know that. We will go where the money is. Even if it's a big team that is offering you a small amount, and then there is a small team that is offering you big. So you always go where the money is. So Gavin decided, okay, let me go to Kaizer Chiefs because they offered him more than what Orlando Pirates has offered him.
I doubt. No.
Wait a minute, Eddie. Okay, go ahead.
I disagree.
I also disagree.
I disagree. Brian, please. Can I take it, Brian? Please.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Eddie, my friend. Please, my brother.
Yeah.
Let me just address you.
Yes.
What happened at this point, my understanding is this. Gavin went to Chiefs because there was an opportunity and it was clear path. So going to Pirates, as I said before when I was sitting here, I said to you guys, Pirates being offering Gavin a job and the reunion that you guys were talking about and all of that. Remember, there was still a standing coach that was there. So I'm sure when Gavin weighed his option, these teams actually have the financial muscle. So I'm not sure if it's about the offer. I doubt that could be the point. But I think the point was...
It is about the offer, my friend.
Okay, the point was here. The offer could maybe be good, but I'm sure Chiefs bettered the offer. That's why it ended Gavin there. So what I'm saying to you right now is that with Gavin, he saw that he's got a squad that he can work with. He's got an opportunity. He's a free guy. There's an open space for him. Going at Pirates, there's a coach that is there. A coach as a running coach. As much as they don't like the coach and then they want to bring Gavin to rebuild Orlando Pirates. Also, Chiefs were in need of a good coach like Gavin Hunt to rebuild also their crumbling team. So I wouldn't say that it boils down to the money factor. I think it's decision for the coach, because myself, if the offer is good or if I see an opportunity for me, it's at a bigger club. Even if I can take a small knock in terms of my pay, I will take it. Reason being is because I know there's an opportunity for me to play. Similar thing that is happening at Sundowns. Sundowns, there's too many players that are there and are going for financial gains, which is that they are not playing. Now they are left to do what? They must go on loan. So again, now if you look, if I can go to Chiefs and I know that my competition is actually a little bit lesser, I will actually take a position to go to Chiefs because I know that I'm going to play. Then I can rebuild myself.
But if you say that it's not about the offer, if you're saying that it's not about the offer, right? This listen, argument's sake. Orlando Pirates offered him 500,000, right? And then Kaizer Chiefs offered him 1 million a month. So are you saying that he is gonna say no because I cannot go vice versa? Let's say vice versa. Orlando Pirates offered Gavin Hunt 1 million, and then Kaizer Chiefs offered him 500,000, knowing that there is a coach at Orlando Pirates. Are you saying that Gavin is going to say, no, I can't go to Orlando Pirates because there is a coach, number one, there. I cannot go there. Second, I need to go to Kaizer Chiefs because there is no coach there. Are you saying that he will take that offer to being at Kaizer Chiefs?
You see the opportunity that has presented itself to the younger coaches, and with the coaches that are being actually called up to take on the position on the first team. It's exactly the same thing, because coaches that are currently there, they could have brought in somebody else. So again, it goes down to opportunity. When it comes to this case, you're looking at it in the sense that whatever money that is going to be offered, remember, as a coach, you have to do your duty. When you are called in, you have to do what you have to do. But you as an individual, again, now you have to weigh your options in terms of.
But you haven't.
Before Eddie, let me come in there, Eddie. Let me just find out something from Soso. I want him to clarify this part. So is Soso saying, when it comes to that position of coaching or football in totality, the principle of fairness apply? When you're given a job, you're going to think about the feeling of the other coach, that there's still somebody employed there. If I take that job, I might not be. Or what do you do when you're given an offer? You don't have a job now. You just left your current job because the team has been sold, and you are Gavin Hunt. You find there's Jay-Z at Pirates. You get given an offer, which now, given what Eddie just mentioned, if the money was more at Pirates versus the money at Kaizer Chiefs, would you think you'd have turned it down if there was a case?
Just to correct that one, Brian, I see the way you've placed it, but now let me put it in this way. Okay. I'm saying, as a coach, principally, you have to understand, you've got two options here. One is free, one is occupied, right? So you are wanted on both sections. So what I'm saying at this point is that it's not for me to feel for the other coach that is there, I'm going to take his job or whatever. We're all in a coaching space and it's a competition. So if they want me there, they want me there. But now, the better opportunity here is actually there's Chiefs looking for a coach, and without a coach, which they just fired the coach, which is for you, it's a good position to actually come into the team and build your philosophy and actually get start from the ground and go up. Because the most coach that has pressure now is actually the coach from Orlando Pirates, because he's got everything set up. Chiefs they had their own problem, but Gavin saw a space where he can fit in and actually rebuild the club. That's what I'm saying. I'm not trying to say Gavin not going to Pirates is nesting Zimbabwe as feelings not to actually to come in there. No. But I'm saying, looking at it, if it was me, there's too many players. I will make an example. Too many players that are sitting at Sundowns that are not getting opportunity. But what did they go for? Where they were currently playing, they were not getting enough money. But now when they go to Sundowns, their life changed. But now, is their career prospering or actually going down? Because now most of those players are going on loan.
But it's also.
I'm just gonna give my 2 cents.
Let's bring Shuaib for this one.
For me, I'm just gonna say 2 seconds. For me is, I think Gavin was targeted by Chiefs first, and Orlando Pirates just want to unsettle that whole thing by trying to hijack him. But that is the way I see it. I think Chiefs was the first primary target, but we all know between Chiefs and Pirates there's always been rivalry from everything, from, like they were saying before, from tweets to videos to whatever. There's always been rivalry. I think Pirates knew that Gavin was going to Chiefs and they just wanted to unsettle the whole situation by giving him an offer. That's my personal opinion.
Maybe they would have signed.
So now we know where Gavin is. All right, now we come in. It's okay. Defend your space.
No, I was saying
you are safe in a safe space, and you go ahead.
No. I mean, that's exactly what happened. That listen, eventually, Kaizer Chiefs, they offered him more than what Orlando Pirates had offered him. So he decided to.
So everybody agrees. So everybody agrees that the offer was better. What Chiefs offered him was better than what it was. So we agree on that.
The offer was better than what Orlando Pirates had offered. That's
right. That's close. That offer was better. So let's leave principles out of it. The principles don't exist here. Offer was better. Case closed. We move on. Now, Gavin is not at Pirates now. Gavin is at Kaizer Chiefs. Dillon Sheppard Deon Hotto have arrived at Pirates. They've been unveiled now officially as Orlando Pirates players. Given the team that Pirates has, given the squad that Pirates has, do you see them breaking into the team immediately, or they'll probably have to work hard to make the team at Orlando Pirates? Eddie?
Looking first of all, I mean, if you look at the centre back of Orlando Pirates, I think they always try to find a partner for Happy Jelly. And then now, listen, now when you have two captains, okay, he was the captain at Vets before, and still the captain of the national team. Now, playing alongside Epijele, who's the captain of Orlando Pirates, I think they're going to form a very good combination right there. There is no doubt about that. And then Hotto also on the other end, they've been looking, I think the Chiefs have been looking for someone of his caliber, the one who plays with the left and then coming on from the right. I think he's going to fit in perfectly there. So I think those two signings, yes, we might say that they will try to work hard to play, to get placed into the team. But truth be told, those two players, I think they will slot in very quickly.
So?
Yeah, I think for me, for Clatwell, it was a good signing to strengthen the backline of Orlando Pirates. Even though I still feel that refreshment from Happy Jail as well could actually assist with Clatwell's energy. Yes, I know that he can take a lot of positive and energy from Happy Jail, and while he's still coming up, he's actually a good player. Clatwell being a leader as well. Two leaders at the back could form actually a good pair. But to my understanding, I think also that position just need maybe one more signing as a surety, because with Happy Jele and injuries and him also his legs wearing off, it could be cost of a challenge, because they will end up with the same situation whereby now they will look for someone to pair with Klaja again, because now Happy Jele, they finally maybe might find his match, which is Klaja coming in to actually to assist and take off the workload from him. Now, going up front in terms of Hotto as well, I think they wanted somebody as well that actually plays naturally on the side, which is the left-hand side, because you'll find Pule, when he's being played on that position, he moves too much, he drifts inside and plays in between the line and acts as if as a floating 9, or becomes a 10. So I think with Hotto, keeping the tactical discipline, they will offer more balance, because if you see with Orlando Pirates, they will always play with their wing back, which is the inverted. So they more or less work more in terms of going up and down. So now when you have a player with speed and energy that is centrally, that is actually playing on a fixed position, which is in the left-hand side, it gives Orlando Pirates a good firing ammunition up front and good combination play with the speed that they may have.
Wait.
Yeah, just to touch on what both of them were saying with regards to with Eddie and Sosi, I think Orlando Pirates and I've got this from inside source also, that they were lacking leaders, and I think that is a good thing with bringing in Fatsayo. It's just his leadership. I mean, they were depending on players like Lodge to be a leader, and he couldn't fulfill that, And at times and at crunch times, that is what wins you the games. It's just that extra leadership that you need. Happy Jele, for me, was carrying a lot on his shoulders when it comes to that part of the game. Leading and taking that responsibility. And I think taking a little bit of that responsibility from Happy Jele could assist him and could even make him play more consistently well himself. Then he won't have to focus so much on the team. With regards to, that's why I say that he's a perfect signing. Fatsai will obviously play in my team any day. So we know he's a hard worker, and we know when he works hard, he will automatically play in my team. Otto as well, as Sosi said, he's an out-and-out winger. But how he's transformed his football over the last few years is his timing of his runs, coming out from wide, and then sneaking in as a second striker. And that's how he's been scoring a lot of goals, and that's how he's been effective for Bits as well. The late runs that he comes coming in. And he's, over the years, from Arrow's days till now, and what I like and what I've seen improved when it comes to Otto is his conversion rate is actually a lot better. He's scoring a lot more goals now. And that, I think, is going to help with Pirates, because they have been lacking. I believe they need to sign another striker. I'm hoping Grobela could go, because I think he would fit in well as a striker. But for me, both of those players will play automatically. Like Sosi also said, Pule is more of a 10 than he is an out-and-out winger. So for a different dimension, a little bit of variation, Otto will definitely do well out wide.
Let's talk about Jay-Z. I mean, Joseph Zimbabwe. It was alleged, given what Eddie was saying, that they were looking for a new coach to bring in there. How do you now go forward with the team and be settled and work very well as you look at how all the things have actually gone as well at Orlando Pirates? If you're Jay-Z, are you still going to be sitting there 100% sure of your job being guaranteed, given the fact there were a lot of rumors that you could be out or somebody else coming in?
You need to have a heart of a lion, as a coach, hearing that to now be a stronger person, because now, once you're a coach and then you start hearing rumors about the club wanting to get another coach. Now, if you are the current coach now, are you strong enough to survive the coming season, or now you just gonna be weak and cannot carry on? So now the pressure is on him now to deliver and try to win as many games as he can and try to win the league, because coaching a big club like Orlando Pirates, it comes with so much pressure that every game that you play, you need to win, and you also need to win cups, because fans, they will also be on your case. So hence I say now you need to have the heart of a lion. You need to be strong. You need to be firm. You need to start bringing in results now and start bringing the happy days.
Yeah, like Eddie you saying, and I agree with you. And for me, is look, they're professionals. I'm sure wherever they've coached before, there's been rumors of the other coaches coming in to take their job. So that's pretty normal. For me, bottom line is the only way to win everybody over is by winning something. And I feel they have the team. I think the signings that they've made now is good enough. And I think the coach is professional enough to know that these are types of things that you have to deal with as a coach. You're going to have people that's not going to agree with your philosophy, or you're going to have supporters that's not going to be happy. You're going to have media that's not going to be happy. But at the end of the day, I think he did well. I think if he continues the way they ended off, and I've said it before, 37 points in 17 matches. If he gets 37 points in the first 17 matches of the league, the Pirate supporters are going to be, all for him. He's going to be definitely in the top 3, 4. So, with that type, if he can continue with that, I think the only good things can come for Orlando Pirates.
Let's talk about Highlands Park, guys. Highlands Park, we know that the sale has happened to TS Galaxy. We're now going to have TS Galaxy competing next season as Highlands Park in the Premier Division. Dan Malesela has got his own problem to deal with now. Players have been sold. Some players are still there. What do you do? Who do you sell? Who do you keep as Highlands Park, as TS Galaxy going forward?
It's very difficult just to pinpoint and say, I don't want this player, I don't want this player, I don't want this. I think the best thing that you could do is, listen, you have players from TS Galaxy, and then you have got players from Highlands Park. I think just to mix them, find out exactly who plays who does what, and watching them train, and then you can be able to select the players that you think would make the team, and then also positions that you think that they need to be beefed up. So I think that by doing that, then you'll be able to select now to say, these players, they can go for transfer, or these players, I don't have plans for them. I think that's the only way that you can do that.
Yeah.
So, see,
for me, I think Dan won't have much of a headache because he's been around the top league for some time. So I'm sure when he got the offer as well, he knew in terms of what was transpiring. So within that being said, I think it gives him an option to say, if you're merging these two teams, again, you'll want also to strengthen the team and also have leadership with the players that are available. That's the only players that you can work with in terms of that are coming from Highlands Park. So he's got a choice to make from those players coming from Highlands Park and the ones that are actually at the TX Galaxy. So I think for him, it's not going to be much of a bigger problem, because I'm sure he would actually done his homework, and then he knows exactly what he needs to do. As a coach that believes in play, his choices will probably be the easiest in terms of, okay, if he stabilizes at the back, he's got a good goalkeeper, which is Telan Ngobeni. He still has Bevan Fransman as a leader and an experienced player. Again, he also has Mbata. So he's got some framework to actually to work with, just to fill in the gaps in terms of the younger players that are coming from TX Galaxy. And also, luckily they don't have a problem of actually signing players. So within that being said, it's going to be a little bit easier for him to actually to take up the job and then do well. Because it has transformed teams like Chipa before, which they have like minimal players which were experienced. Then he managed to build them up to be a formidable team.
Yeah, I think you're right there, Sosi. I think that is why Tamzukazi actually went for Dan, because I think he knows that with this transfer window being so short, with the amount of time, I think it would probably have been the best man, because Dan has obviously did well in the NFD Glad Africa, and he did relatively well in the PSL. So for the type of football he plays, I think he's got a good combination of players that he can choose from. With regards to, like you were saying, Bevan Fransman, he's got Mbata. We don't know if he's going to take Bevan. I would keep Taylor, because Taylor's quite experienced in the PSL. So Taylor Ngobeni as a goalkeeper. Mzava might struggle a little bit, because playing from the back wasn't one of Mzava's good fortes as a defender. Bevan's got some experience, but we don't know if he'll fit into Dan's plans. And then the likes of Mbata, I think, will definitely will.
Ayanda Lenga is saying that, don't you guys think that the playoffs have been unfair? How can you expect NFB teams to perform well against PSL teams? Leopards at 100% record, and that proves my point. Last season, Maritzburg United had 100% record as well. How do we try and deal with imbalances between the Leopard Championship versus the teams in the Championship?
For me,
okay. Go ahead, Trent.
Look, I don't believe in it, and I'm going to be straight up honest. Any team that is second last is always have an advantage. I understand that the Glad Africa teams have overage players that they can use them all in the playoffs, but the Glad Africa Championship and the Motsepe League is there supposed to be structured to develop players. So how am I going to take, and it's proven now with Ajax. Ajax has thrown in all the youngsters, and they didn't stand no chance against Black Leopards because of the inexperience. You are trained to play NFD, and when you go to playoffs, your playoffs, and I will stick to my guns here. The playoffs must be second, third, and fourth of the NFD. 2 down, 2 go straight down, because if you lost or you second lost, you don't deserve another bite at the cherry. I don't believe you've done well enough for the whole season to get another chance and an opportunity. So we don't know how they're going to rectify it, or if they're going to rectify it, or if they really do want to. But for all fairness, the Glad Africa Championship is there, and it has the rules because they want to develop players. So how are you going to compete against the experienced players? And that is my thing. And the gap is big. You can't tell me the gap between NFD and PSL is not big. It's big. I know it because I've played in both those leagues. So don't tell me that the gap is not that big, that they should compete with second last. They're not going to. Any team ending of second is never going to compete with a team second last in the PSL.
Yeah, I think I do agree with you, Shuaib. I think it's either we do that, or let's have the 2 down, 2 up. Because listen, if you are in an NFD, the Glad Championship, you're working very hard. You end up being second position, and you deserve to go up straight into the PSL. You don't need to go to playoffs with the team that is given a lifeline again from the PSL to go into a playoffs and then go back again. So I think it's high time we say, listen, you have been given enough time, probably 30 games to play in the PSL. You didn't win. you failed, you need to go down. There should be any playoffs. Those teams that are from the Glad Championship, they work very hard to be in the first position and then second. Let them go up. Let them go up. I think that would be the best. If not, like what Shuaib said, one goes up, second, third, and fourth, then they play playoffs. Then let it be. But the PSL team should not be given another lifeline again for them to go back to PSL.
Yeah, just simply straightforward. I think for the question that has been actually put up, it's totally unfair, and the cracks are quite big that we can see through them. That some teams are disadvantaged in terms of budget as well, because they can't sign quality players. Because knowingly so is that when you are in NFD, your finances are quite lower than the teams that are actually up the league, which is PSL. So within that being said, again, it also makes no sense for you to play all these games that you're playing for when you finish second, and then you still have to play other games to prove yourself to be on the league. I think the structure of the league itself needs to change when it comes to NFD. I don't know, maybe it's a monetary issue or whatever the point is, but I think it should be rectified. It must be 2 down, 2 up. And also the option of having the third and the fourth one in terms of the NDC is just going to stretch the league. And knowingly so, those players, those teams will play the same amount of games as in within the PSL. The energy, you wouldn't have the energy to actually to go all out now when you're still going to have the second, the third, and the fourth guy, and also the guy that is coming from the PSL. So I think it's all fairness. It just must be 2 up, 2 down. You see, with Sundowns, I'm starting to get dizzy now. As much as they're in a rebuilding phase, it's becoming disastrous now for them, because it's like they are picking everything that is on the market, but I don't think it's going to be fitting now when you have to play all those other players, because other players need to make way. Like for instance, they signed new goalkeeper that is there, and you still have Riyadh, who has 1 appearance. So you look at that. Now already on their goalkeeping department, they are more than strong. And again, if you see players like Lucky Muhomi, no appearance. I know that he's young, but now if you're signing more and more of those players, again, it gives you an opportunity. When is the guy going to have an opportunity? You still have Somahayo, who's 29 years old, 3 appearances. And if you look at the age as well, they are going leaning towards the youngsters. And I think Somahayo will be the one also making way. You got your Obrim Goma, who's also in the radars of Morocco Swallows, who Morocco Swallows is interested in getting him in there. I think it would be good for him to get game time, as much as he's also now in his twilight of his career, 31 years old. He only made 4 appearances for Sundowns. Again, Lafort, when last did you actually hear of him? He only had 1 appearance. And for him, I think it's also is going to be another player that will be targeted to vacate the place and actually allow the new players to come in while they're in this rebuilding phase of theirs. But I think there's too many players that are going to go.
I mean, guys, when you look at the way things are at Sundowns, and you look at the Buccaneers also had a huge squad at some stage and then never really delivered them much. But Peter made it clear, remember when they had the celebration, that some players are going to be let go at Sundowns. Some will be sent on loan, some are going to be let go as they're beefing up and looking at going forward. Don't you think, given the fact that the season is going to be compressed, that having a big squad will probably play a huge role for them, given the fact that they'll be playing in a league? They've got Nedbank Cup, they've got the MTNA, they've got a CAF Champions League, they've got a Telkom Cup as well. So every player might just get a chance. What do you think, Shuaib?
Look, for me is, okay, we've come to the conclusion that they've already identified who they've given opportunities before and probably going to let go. The likes of your Peter Mahomi, Somaro, Ngoma, Lafort still touch and go. He needs to decide. I think with his age, he probably would want, I would probably at his age not say, I'm going to play backup to your Serenios, to Mabues, those ones. My concern is, how are you going to give opportunities to players with hardly any preseason? You understand? Because that's normally the time when you're giving normally when you have a normal full season, it would be end of June till beginning of August, which that is just 6 weeks, where you give your Mbalas, your Ricardo Goss, your Shalulelas, your Grant Mahakamans, all of those, you give them the opportunity. How are you going to give them now? Because you're competing for things, but you also want to give opportunities. They can't go on loan because you've recently just signed them. Maybe Jody February will go on loan because you signed Ricardo Goss. And you have Mwini. I think Riyad Peters is looking for a move also. So in that sense, I think Jody February will go on loan. But the others, Ashing Domingo, Gift Matupo, they want to play. They want to give opportunities. So are you going to take the first few weeks of the season and give each of them opportunities and see who can complement your squad that you already have? It's going to be difficult. But look, at the end of the day, they made the signings. We've even heard that this Kermit Erasmus is also, they've inquired about Kermit. They've inquired about Tariq Phillips as well. So those are another two. That's a whole new team that could win the league on its own that they've just signed. So at the end of the day, they're not done signing, they said. And I think that, at the end of the day, they're going to have to decide how they want to manage the compressed season now.
The Soso?
Yeah, the same could be said. Again, as competitive as Sundowns wants to be, again, it makes it unfair for also the players that are going to be signed and then they have to go on loan. As much as they want to compete as well, it also weakens also the league as well, because other players now, when they have to leave, looking for teams, as Pito has said on his own words, that if we have a big squad like this, and there's people that are coming at your door and knocking that they want your service, for you, it would be great, it would be best to actually to take up that opportunity and go sharpen up your skills, maybe come back with another better player, because maybe the plan at hand might not be the one that is fitting for this season, because probably you would have actually assessed the player as to say this one is going to be a backup for this one and this one is going to be a backup for that one. But now if a team comes in and they knock at your door, it also hits the coach again in terms of their identification. How did they identify a player that they will sign now and then yet again they actually put him on loan? Also that dampens into the player's spirit as well, to say, I'm excited to come in and revive my career, or build my career with a winning squad, and then all of a sudden I'm told that I'm going to go on loan. It becomes unfair, but anyway, at the end of the day, he wants to compete. I'm sure already he's got his squad, even though saying that he's not yet done signing. I think those are the benefits of actually having deep pockets.
I mean, let's look at it from this point of view. Let me play the devil's advocate here. You bring in players into the team, as Pito has done, and those players don't work well. You decide now to go to those players that you probably just decided, no, let's just move them away from here. And things are not going well. And you need to go back to those players. What will be your attitude as a player if you're given an opportunity, having been rejected initially, to come back and play in a team? Will you remain a professional player and deliver your best, or will you just want out immediately and see where you can go? Eddie?
I think for most of the players, the best thing is everybody wants to play. I think everybody wants to play for a big club like Sundowns. But then if you're many and then give it the opportunity and you're not performing, then obviously you would have to go to a club where you're going to be given much game time. If not, then, because I will just give you this, Brian, that Sundowns, they've got nine midfielders and they signed 5 more. So that means 14 midfielders, and you only want 3. Out of those 14, you only want 3 players to play. So what's going to happen to the other 11? So I think it also boils down to say, I need game time. Can I go on loan? And then if the technical team agrees that, okay, we can put you on a loan and then we'll see you probably next season, and then that's it.
Look, sometimes.
But surely, guys, if you're a coach, Shuaib, before you come in, if you're a coach, isn't it best for you to have a headache about having a lot of players than having a very thin squad?
Yeah, I think for me, this is a different type of headache, because you want to keep everybody happy. But at the end of the day, you can't. And I'm still trying to figure out how some of the players even want to go there. I understand to a certain degree that I'm going there for more money. And if I do, and if I am told I'm going to be sent on loan, whoever's taking me on loan has to honor that same contract. I'm not taking a salary cut. Even though you're telling me, for example, if I was Grant Macheman and I'm looking and I'm seeing 10 quality midfielders ahead of me, what are the chances of me getting my opportunity? You understand? So if they were to come to me, for example, Grant, and say, look here, we need you to go on loan, I would take it as a youngster as him, because I'm just going to play and I'm going to better myself. And when I do come back to Sundowns, I'm going to come back as another year in the PSL, because remember, I've played the last 2 seasons NFD. So for him, for Jody February also, for example, you have Mwini, you have Ricardo Goss, who's got the experience in the PSL. If they say, okay, go on loan to Chippa United for a season. If I'm Jody February, I'm saying by all means, I'm getting the good money that I've signed for Sundowns, that I wanted, and I get to play. And when I do come back, I'm going to come back a better player. But your others, your Kapingas or your Hashim Domingos that has played, or for example, Mbala also, that has played regularly at the club and wants to push now. What is it going to do to them? Is it going to make them despondent when they're not playing? Because they come from playing at the clubs regularly. So they must also prepare themselves as players for that. Because sometimes you don't fit into the team's plans or the coach's type of play he wants for the next few weeks. So you must prepare yourself for that. And those are some of these players maybe don't understand.
So what do you think?
I think I'll just go back to that other point, Brian, where you say, what do players do? I think we all sign contracts and we're all professional. You being upset about not being chosen or not playing or whatever the case might be, for the mere fact that the winning coach, the champion coach, has actually selected you and wanted you to actually to come into the team, I think you need to take it as professional as possible. If you are sent on loan, just go and then get your opportunity to play and then come back as a better player, because you still belong to Sundowns. It's not that they say they sign you and they don't want you, they're terminating the contract. But it's just a mere change, a slight change of saying, within the plans that we have, and we've assessed in terms of how our structure is going to be. So we're thinking that at least let's loan you for a season. A best guy, and for example, that has done well was what's this young boy again? The one that went to Maritzburg. Yeah, Mohale. He went to Maritzburg. He did absolutely well. He just went there for a season and already he got back, and then he was called back. From being called back, he started being introduced slowly into the squad. Now he's going to become a season starter for Sundowns. He's actually giving Sundowns great balance in terms of attacking form. So if you're going to go there with a despondent mind to say, I'm being loaned out and whatever the case might be, that's not the right attitude as a professional, because you need to honor your contract, and then you need to understand that there is competition all over. Even where you are loaned, you might find that you might actually sit on the bench again. So what are you going to do? Your career is over when you do that. So what are you going to do? You're going to say, no, since I came here because I'm coming from Sundowns with that attitude that I'm a big player, you get there and then you don't play again. You still have the same attitude. Your career will end.
Yeah, but Sosi, you must remember, Magalwa came through the junior ranks, eh? And I remember when I was at Ajax, he came there because they wanted to sign him at Ajax. So they were looking out to loan him, to obviously give him that confidence. We're talking about players that a season campaign. We are talking about players that are borderline, are on the verge of getting national team call-up. Some of them did. So how do you monitor, or how do you manage that? And that is where I think the problem is. It's not the younger players that's so much the problem. It's more the players that had maybe even call-ups last season, that's saying, hey, I need to play this season for more call-ups. I know it sounds a little bit selfish, but at the end of the day, players also want to progress in their careers, and that is how you must try and manage those type of players.
Understandably so.
If you're the coach now, which player do you send out?
If I'm the coach.
So which player do you send out if you're a coach?
Well, for
on a
me,
long
I'll
stint? Which
look
players
at,
do you?
for me, I'll look at players like Riyad Peterson, who has little time, game time, and also making way for new players. Because I mean, if you are Riyad Peterson and then you actually had, let me just check here, if you had only one appearance, and then you still have your Kennedy Mweni, you still have your
appearance,
you still have those type of players. Then again, within I'll be a little bit lenient when it comes to Lucky Mohammed. No appearance, a youngster, but he can still actually make it. He's 20. He's not a youngster anyway. He's 29 years old. So also him is also on the borderline as well. Somahayu as well. Will actually release him 3 appearances. I think actually it's not beneficiary for Sundowns to keep a player who is 29 years old with actually 3 appearances. And Obrim Goma, 31 years, and actually has 4 appearances. Also, I would look for him to actually to go, because I feel at this point also he's frustrated. He's been there at Sundowns, and so little game time actually affects him. If there's a team that I've heard of, which is Swallows, that they want him to actually on their radar, I think it's good for him to lift up his confidence. And also, he's actually might have 2 or 3 more seasons to play until he retires, because he's also struggling with injuries also while on it. Lafo as well, 35 years, 1 appearance. I'll look to actually to clear him out, just to find out the new combination on the youngsters.
But you're coming into a team that already has 8, 9 midfielders. How are you going to slot in there?
I think that's
I take
exactly what I wanted to find out, Brian. That yes, okay. I think I will direct this to Shuaib. I think Shuaib can help me out with this one. Yes, they've got 2 more goalkeepers that they've signed, right? And then from the 4 that were previously at Sundowns. So if we say Peter Riatsen, okay, we can release him. So for these new coming goalkeepers, what are the chances of them playing since you have Mini and Onyango? Because Riyad Peterson couldn't break through into the first team. He made 1 appearance. So with these 2 boys coming in, or let's say 1 boy coming in, what are the chances of him breaking into the first team when Onyango and Mini are there?
But there's 2 of them. As Ricardo Goss and Jody February. There's 2 goalkeepers that came in. But Riyad Peterson and his agent have already asked to be released or to look for another club. They've already suggested
which is fine. I just wanted to find out that, because they've realized that there's no way that he is going to play. So with these 2 coming in, what are the chances of them playing when they
look for me, Kennedy Mweni, I think when I saw Dennis play in the final, then I could pick up Kennedy Mweni understands his position at the moment. He understands he's the backup I think he's the backup to Dennis, and actually to whoever they can to bring in, maybe Ricardo Goss. That is why I'm saying, I'm thinking the way I would look at it is Jody February goes and gets PSL. He gets PSL game time, so he gets sent on loan. So it would look to me would be Dennis first choice, Goss second choice, and Mweni. But Mweni is always there because you need a backup for CAF, because he's got the experience in Africa. So I think now at the moment with Mweni's age or so, he understands the role that he plays in the Sundowns goalkeeping department. So there might be times that they'll say, okay, let's give Goss an opportunity in the league, rest Dennis, and then you'll say, no, it's fine. But when it comes to the crunch times, he knows that he's Mr. Reliable. And I think that is the role that he's in at the moment, and that is why they signed him as a long-term. And obviously, Goss and Jody are long-term signings. I mean, look, Sundowns had Mario Boyson there for 5 years. He never played 1 season for he was on loan every year. Musa Nyantama also, I think, was on loan almost every year that he was signed for. So they do that. They sign you for 5 years, but if you want to grow as a footballer and you could eventually get into the team, doing well, being loaned out. So that is opportunity.
Okay. I think, Brian, can I please take it?
Yeah, you can come in.
I think now again it takes us back to the selfishness and uncalculated when it comes to agents. And this for me makes sense in terms of agents are trying to cash in now. They are not looking after the players' career. They are not looking after players' careers, to be honest, guys, because these people now are looking at the monetary value when it comes to things like this. I mean, you have players that have been loaned in, loaned out, and you know the history of Sundowns. They have a financial mass. If Barcelona were to come and knock in terms of any player in Africa, you will go there even knowing very well that the players that will be competing with, you wouldn't even play. But now again, if you go back to agents, we just have to look at the agents in terms of what they are doing into footballers, because this could be a very bad career-threatening move to go there. Because if you look at players like Masuku, who was on his top form, he actually played for Pirates, and then all of a sudden he was loaned out. So you look at other players also that have come into Sundowns. When Oprim Goma was signed for Sundowns, he was a hot property. Any team wanted him to add to their space. Now he has played far less game than he was playing before. So I think again the scrutiny needs to go back to the agents now. I think they are killing the game now because they want to fatten their pockets.
Wow. Yeah. Now, if I ever decide to play football, you definitely be my agents also, because I know that you want to look after me all the way. Gentlemen, it was very nice to be chatting to you today. Apologies for the gremlins in the network for today, but I thank you very much for unpacking everything. Until we meet again for another session, we'll be talking more football and all the gossips and the stories that happens behind. I think it would be unfair for us to leave without saying congratulations to Black Leopards for making it back into the Premier Division. Ajax Cape Town must go back to the drawing board, and hopefully things will get better next season. And TTM, your favorite team, Soso, they're in the Premiership, so we'll see exactly how they're going to play in the Limpopo Derby. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening. Good evening, everybody.